Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Richard's Podcast Land. And today we'll be having Jennifer Sunbell that is going to be our guest for the interview. But before we get started, how are you doing today so far?
Are you, are you asking me or are you asking the people?
Why you, of course.
Me?
Oh,
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be here with you.
yep. It's such an honor to have you here in my podcast series. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for asking me. I'm honored that you asked me.
You're very much welcome. I have a lot of questions to ask you about your career
Okay.
and some questions and some sort. Now, further than ado, let's get started, shall we?
Woo! Yes.
So here's my first question. What's it like to become a voice actor in many anime shows that you voiced at?
For anime specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's you get to depending on the style of anime, you get to play like a huge range of characters, from really real and grounded and like super, just just like something that we would see on like in a movie or something. And then you get to do like fun, quirky characters, which is so much fun too. So I don't know, I think it's amazing. I love it.
Well, that's really great to hear. I'm really glad you're enjoying it so far. Which your
Yeah.
answer leads me to the most important question I need to ask. Like, how
Okay.
did you became interested in acting, and what inspired you to pursue this as your career? Since where did this all started?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So I actually, well, let me hit okay because it didn't say okay. There you go.
All right.
So I actually I always loved like singing and acting when I was little, but I didn't really do much. I did like a musical in high school, and then I went to an engineering college because I thought I'm going to do engineering. So I actually have a bachelor's in electrical engineering from Georgia Tech. Um, and while I was there, I was like, man, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really like this, this kind of going through the motions. And then um I met my husband there and he was like, I really don't like it. He left. He just like was like, I don't want to do this. And I remember there was one semester I was working and I was programming, coding some stuff for a machine to I worked on the first wet toilet paper machine for Kimberly Clark, and I programmed all their this is how you program apparently like this. I programmed all of their touch screens, but I made them 3D and I made them like, interactive. And I was like, I knew then I was like, I'm an artist. I can do engineering, but it's not my passion. So fast forward a couple of years, I graduate and I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. And then my husband happened to kind of stumble into acting. He was told he should be a model. So he tried to be a model and then he booked like a big national commercial. And then he was like, this is what I want to do. And he started taking classes. And then his manager at the time, or a casting director, I believe, was just like, hey, you need more on-set experience. So come be an extra on this show. Oh, and invite your girlfriend. She's pretty. And I was like, great, I'm pretty. Let me just go be an extra on this show. And I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. I want to act, And after being on set one time, that's all it took. And then I started taking classes. And I focused mainly, especially in the beginning of my career, on camera. So a lot of film, a lot of TV. I've worked with a lot of amazing people like, you know, Jim Carrey, which is incredible. Kristen Bell, Ben Schwartz, all these amazing people. And so I was doing film and TV. I moved out to LA, and then, but fast go backwards a little bit. While I was doing that, my agent in Atlanta sent me a voiceover audition. I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that too, because I'd always wanted to be like a My Little Pony or an X-Men or something. I know, two totally different worlds, but I was like, or Dragon Ball Z, all of these things. And so I happened to book it. And I tell this story all the time. It was my very first voiceover thing ever was for a commercial for anti-diarrhea medicine. So it wasn't glamorous, but it was so much fun. And then I moved out here and I was focusing on film and TV. And then I was like, I had my daughter and I started watching all her shows with her. And I was like, man, I reminded me how much I loved, cartoons growing up and anime and video games because I used to, when I had time, I used to play all the time. So it sort of catapulted me to like, oh, let's add this to your wheelhouse. And so that's how it all started. I was just like, I really want to get into voiceover. I love just being so many different types of characters and telling so many different stories. I think for me, that's most important. There's so many unheard stories out there. And I think, being able to provide the voice to tell that story is incredible. And it's honestly a dream come true. So yeah, you got my life history there in that question.
Well, that's really awesome. I'm really glad you're enjoying it so far. Your whole acting experience and everything with engineering and stuff, you're actually the only person that ever mentions about that. Like, I should actually put that in my book just in case if I want to get a backup career. But thank you so much for mentioning about it. You're actually the only person that I ever
I've
found
had,
out.
I think I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people have had like, because they have to, also until you really get going and acting, it doesn't, you don't get paid much really, to be honest, in the beginning. So you have to have multiple like jobs and careers. I mean, I almost went to school to be a veterinarian too, because after college, I was like, I was a vet tech, so which is like a nurse for dogs and cats basically. And I loved it. And I was gonna like specialize in surgery because I was really good at it with assisting and I was doing my own stuff. And but then I fell into acting and there goes that. I still use everything I learned though, like my dog and my cat and my family. My sister was in the veterinary field as well. So all of our pets are always like very taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, my dog Milo always goes crazy about it. I mean, whenever we take him to the vet, he always goes behind my sister's foot because
He
he
doesn't want to
actually,
be that.
yeah. I mean, he was only a baby at that time because when he tried to go behind my sister's feet, the nurse was saying, "Come here, fella, it's okay." Because it was a guy, honestly, and he was really kind when he tried to get Milo and
Yeah.
give him for a
There,
checkup.
you have to have like so much patience and love and know how to handle them. It's one of my favorite things. I love fur babies.
Yeah. Yeah, my dog Malo is always crazy, because whenever I try to like give him like the perfect thing after we give him a bath, he always makes the angry face because he didn't like the smell.
What
Does
kind
that
of dog is Milo?
It's a multi poodle. Yeah.
Oh, my mom had a Maltese. Well, we think he was a Maltese, but yeah, he was my Batman. His name was Batman.
Oh,
That was one of my dogs growing up. He was so sweet. I love Maltese.
yeah. But true. Yeah. I also really happy your whole acting experience is fantastic. Like I should really remember
Thank
that
you.
one day because your acting experience is what I wanted to hear the most. Because in college, which I'm studying in theater, I could always go with the backup plan anytime because you
Yeah.
are like the only person that ever talks about engineering, which I should put that in my book because engineering makes more money throughout my whole entire life once I graduate. Trust me.
It might. You never know. But, for me, it was, I could do something with it, but I really love telling stories. So it was, you have to do what you love. Like at the end of the day, Richard, if you love acting, then I want you to pursue it. I mean, you'll find a way to make a way, basically, right? I mean, yeah, you can minor in something else, if something else that kind of piques your interest, But yeah, like acting is, you have to really love it because yeah, you have to have multiple jobs sometimes, and yeah, you
Yeah.
have to find your way, but you'll
Yeah.
get there. It's yeah, I mean, I've wanted to quit before. I mean, I almost quit before I got into voiceover, to be honest. I was like, I'm done. I'm tired of like, not being seen or heard and like trying to be put in a box and everything. And, voiceover kind of rejuvenated my acting career, to be honest. What's really great about voiceover is because I'm mixed, sometimes it's hard for shows and films on camera to find a place for me because I look a certain way, to be very honest. They're like, oh, I'm not Asian enough, I'm not white enough, I'm not, kind of like in the between, they don't know where to put me kind of thing. But with voiceover, I can literally be anything, which is, you know, you know, amazing. Of course, you know, I don't overstep bounds. We, stay in our lanes on, like, Asian and white and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I could be an ogre, I could be a cat, I could be, a mermaid. I mean, like it's a soldier. I mean, it's so much fun. And I love that freedom that I have, to be able to create these new characters. And honestly, I will say sometimes my engineering does come into play though. Like sometimes I've had to do roles where they are an engineer and they have to speak very technical things. And, I still have to practice because I haven't done it in so long, but they can fly off my tongue a little bit easier because, I went to school for 5 years essentially because I worked every other semester to do engineering. So, we start talking about AutoCAD and RSView and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, I know that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I will be always interested in voiceover acting because studying theater is my main purpose first. Because ever
Yes.
since I was like, I think I was like this small when I was like 14 years old. Like when I,
Yeah.
like when I, like when I remember that I actually went to my first Comic Con to meet Jennifer Hale, who actually runs,
Amazing.
who is actually in Skills Hub, which is a very good company actually to those who want to
Yes.
get into voiceover. She's the
Yes.
inspiration I wanted to get into voice acting because ever since I grew up watching her as Cinderella, I wanted to be one just like her when I get to grow up.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's gonna happen for you. I believe it. It's gonna happen.
Yep. Hopefully, if God notices, he knows what to
Oh,
choose, but we'll see.
he knows. He sees your heart. He sees your desires and your passion. You're gonna
Yeah.
be all right.
Thanks.
So are you gonna do only you only want to do voice acting, or do you also want to do like like actual live theater and stuff?
I want to do actual voiceover acting because I wanted to play the characters for animation, video games, and
Yeah.
audiobooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's it's gonna happen.
Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah. Okay, next question. After you accomplish your acting skills, have you ever taken any voiceover classes before you made your first demo reel?
Um, so back in Atlanta, when I was first starting out in acting, I did take like a voiceover workshop. It was like a month. I want to say 4 classes once a week or something. Where it was just getting in front of a microphone and just kind of practicing and like, the different commercial versus character. But that one I feel like really focused on commercial. Um, and then I made like a commercial demo back then, but I didn't really do anything with it. And then when I came here to LA and, basically I started really pursuing acting like a week before COVID hit. So
Mm.
before the lockdown and everything. So once lockdown happened, I was like, well, I'm all in. So then, yeah, I took a lot of voiceover specific classes because even though I have a lot of acting training, there is like, I did have to learn, I did have to bridge the gap between voiceover and on camera because it's subtle, it's a little different, I should say. With on camera, you're going to see my face, you're going to see my expressions. So I don't have to say or make a noise or anything like that. But I had to learn how to translate what I would see on screen into just the voice. What does that mean? If it's just an intense stare, is it going to be like a subtle breath? Is it going to be like just to like evoke that feeling that would come from just seeing visuals, right? So yeah, I took lots of workshops. And then I got more like what I would say strategic, where I try to get in front of people that didn't know me because I was newer to the voiceover industry back then, right? So I try to get in front of casting directors and voice directors and people like, that, could call me in for auditions so they could see my work as well. Yeah.
Well, that's really great to hear. I mean, voiceover classes could be really expensive if you're serious about getting a career in voiceover. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good way to start, but your answer leads me to the most important question. Like, how long
Okay.
did it took to make your first demo reel before you submitted to your agencies or the producers?
Yeah, so again, my first one I did back in Atlanta, but it was so many years ago I had to redo it. And I actually did my first animation demo and commercial demo with Toonhouse with Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, and his amazing son Austin and Brock Powell, who's also like a powerhouse in voiceover. So I was recommended Somali, actually, Montana. She's the one that recommended them to me, and I was like, great, I'm gonna go with them. If they work for you, Somali, it's gonna work for me. That was what I was hoping. So I did like I think I did one private session with Bill because he was like, I just need to see if you're ready. We don't want to do a demo unless I know you're ready. And then I did like no, maybe I did 2 privates and he was like, well, okay, I think you're ready. Because again, I have been studying acting for over 10 years, probably. Yeah, over 10 years. And so the acting wasn't the issue, it was just translating my on camera to voiceover. So he kind of helped me bridge that gap. And then I did my commercial and my animation demo with Bill, and it was amazing with Brock. I think Brock actually directed the animation one.
Well,
So I
that's
did that. Yeah. And I got
yeah.
those. I did that end of 2019. I think I got my demos around actually in my inbox, maybe like January 2020. And then my manager at the time, I told him, hey, I got these amazing demos. I want to get with an agent. So this is not typically the norm. Like it happened quicker for me just because I had already industry contacts, right? Not everybody's going to have that at the beginning. Again, it's only because I've been acting already. So I had those contacts. And basically, my manager introduced me to Atlas, which is my voiceover agent. And I think the meeting happened like in March. We met and they were like, let's give it a shot. And then, yeah, 2020, March 2020, I want to say. And then again, got with them about a week before COVID hit. I was actually in a musical at the time. So I was like, we couldn't even, we did one opening weekend and then we couldn't do the rest of the show. And then I just went headfirst into voiceover. So for me, it happened kind of quickly. But again, we're not talking about all those years of like training and the times I almost quit and the tears, the depression. It was all there. And I mean, I went through a pretty rough journey to get to where I am now, but I'm so thankful. I think, I think people sometimes are scared of that part because it is hard, you audition, especially in voiceover. When I first started out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many auditions, and it was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm not booking. And they say, I don't know I've heard something like if you do 100 auditions, you might book one or something like that. So I was really fortunate to book one of my first ones immediately, which happened to be an audiobook. Um, uh, but it was those hard times is what really kind of catapulted even my acting. It kind of helped it not kind of, it did help my acting because I can draw from those experiences now, everything that we go through in our life. If you can draw from them for acting, it's only going to make you better. So yeah, so it was hard. It was rough, but I was really fortunate that the stars aligned pretty quickly for me and I started working pretty fast, and I'm really thankful for that. All that money I spent in acting class paid off apparently.
Well, that's really awesome. I mean, making a demo reel could be really expensive, which
Yeah.
I think it costs us like $400 or $700 to make one. But what I do recommend for people that wanted to get their demo reels done is wait until they're ready. Because if they
Yes.
just go to a recording studio and just record a demo reel without any experiences, boom, their money is no more. Trust me.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I would say 400 to 700 is on the lower end. It's like that's probably going to be more of your indie producers, which there are some fantastic indie producers, but like you said, Richard, you have to be ready. You have to know your strengths, be very specific with, you know, what areas of voiceover you want to focus in because there's so many areas. And you don't want to like try to reach for every single one. You want to start off and be focused and then build upon that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I knew commercial and animation slash video games was where I wanted, so I focused on those. But for some people, maybe it's only going to be commercial, and then you'll grow from there, and that's okay. Even now, I'm looking to add, a narration demo eventually. I have a promo demo now. I have all these things that I've done over time. If you try to do it all at once, you're not, it's like, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something will stick versus if you get focused and set specific goals, then you'll find more success, I feel, faster.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of it, did you ever like grew up watching Bill Farmer's voices in a few anime shows before you got a chance to work with him? Like,
I mean,
I
I think
remember.
everyone knows Goofy. I mean,
Yeah.
I was when I first found out like Toonhouse was his, and I was like, wait, who is this? Bill Farmer? And I was like, he's the voice of Goofy. I mean, I definitely fangirled a little bit, and he showed me some of his memorabilia, and he's like the nicest guy, and his son is amazing. Brock was amazing. I mean, They're fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget he's also the voice of Mickey Mouse's dog Pluto as well. Because I
Yep.
know I really actually knew he can actually good do dog impressions, just like Frank Welker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can, and he can bust, he's done it so it's so trained. He can just like bust out Goofy and stuff, and like just mid conversation you could be talking to him and then all of a sudden you're talking to Goofy. It's amazing.
Yep, that's really awesome to hear that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we got some character questions to ask for you since we're getting this show on the road for more of your characters, your voice. So let's get started. So,
Okay.
so here's my first question for this. How's it like being the voice of Tamaki Iwato from Suzume?
Oh, Tamaki is one of, oh, she's very, very special to me. This is when, and this is where I auditioned for her. I remember I had just met Mommy, and then I got requested to audition for Tamaki. And you know, at that time, I was able to see the two scenes that I was auditioning for. It was all NDA and password and all this kind of stuff. So I honestly didn't really know much about Suzume. I just, I got it late and I had to turn it in the next day. So I was here. It was almost like midnight, I think. It was dark out, and I just remembered watching. So the two scenes that I auditioned for was the first scene was when Tamaki um and Suzume have the fight in the car. If you've seen Suzume, it's when it's pouring rain and she's just trying to connect with her niece. And she's like, just talk to me, and what is going on? What is this? Who is this cat? What is going on? And and I get emotional just thinking about, because I'm a mom as well. Just, it's hard trying to care for someone else, basically. And, going through that scene, and it's real. It's kind of raw and real, the things she says. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it. Please go watch it. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. But it's really real and raw. So I connected with her immediately. And, and honestly, I don't even think I didn't, I think I did like two takes, because it was just so, I was so present and connected to Tamaki and everything that she was going through as a surrogate mom, essentially, right? And then the second scene was the when she's talking on the phone to Suzume. She's like, "Where are you? What's going on?" And it was kind of fun and cute. Oh, there was a third scene, the introduction scene as well, when she's making her bento box and everything. But yeah, it was such a wonderful, wonderful journey to get to just be Tamaki, and see the relationship grow between her and Suzume. And when you're recording for an anime, you only get to see your scene. So, you get context, but you only see your scene that you're recording. So you don't get to see the full end product until, basically, I didn't see it until the premiere. And I cried. I did. It was like, I was like, I know that's me, but I feel it still. And I was like just crying. And, with the whole cast was not, most of the cast was there, and we were all just in tears. And it was beautiful. I mean, I don't know. It's like, that's all I can say. It was just such a magical, magical experience.
Well, that's really awesome to hear. Like when you were casted to be on Suzume, did you ever stay in touch with any of the other cast members like Josh Keaton, Roger
Yeah.
Craig-Smith?
Okay, sorry. What was your question? It was like, do I stay in touch with the cast and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like did you ever like stay in touch with any of the cast members when you were casted to be on Suzume, like Josh Keaton, Roger Craig-Smith, Abby Trott, or someone?
Yeah, yeah. So when you record an anime, they don't really do a lot of group records anymore. Sometimes they might, I don't know. But so I didn't get to meet the most pretty much any of the cast until the premiere. But not everybody was able to make it, unfortunately. So like Roger doesn't live over here. So I never got to meet Roger Craig Smith. But Josh Keaton, Mela Lee, Abby Trott was there. Yeah, I mean, I just saw Mela like like December. We took a class, an actual in-person class together, and we still need Mela. We need to get together and have our like lunch date. So we're still trying to do that. Yeah. So and then Josh and I became really good friends, and yeah, he actually apparently I went to the studio and I was running a little late and he was there and I was like, how come you didn't tell me? He was like, I wasn't sure. When you only like see each other, like, we saw each other a couple times. And then, when you're in the studio, it's like, I'll be very honest. I look like a bum usually. I go with no makeup because I don't know if I'm going to cry or anything like that. Usually, like my hair's on a ponytail. I'm in a hoodie because the studio's going to be very, very cold. So I'm not surprised he didn't recognize me. Like very different from the premiere.
Well, that's
Yeah, I'm
really
always like in
awesome.
sweats and everything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody that I met was amazing. They're just so talented and such just good people.
Yep. Such caring people as well, as
Yeah. Oh,
always.
actually, Josh and I worked on another project shortly after, which was really cool. It was like really, really cool to see him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Next question. How is it like being the voice of Valkyrie from everyone's favorite childhood franchise, Ultraman?
Korea was like so much fun. She was it was interesting because I was recording. Yes, that's right. So I was simultaneously recording Suzume and Ultraman at the same time, and they are just the complete opposite of characters, right? So I would go from like a Suzume session where it was like I was crying and like, like I was, just it was so like just heartfelt and, you know, that drama. And then I went to, Ultraman and she's like super like kind of like this badass sexy girl. And I was like, oh, this is fun too. So it was like complete opposite, but it was so much fun. I mean, we went through that really, really fast. I mean, it was like, you know, it was just because she was just like so like just kind of sexy and just kind of like she knew what she wanted and she was a badass. And I loved it. The ending was my favorite. The last episode. I love that I had the last line, essentially. Yeah, so yeah, was recording them at the same time.
Oh, that's really awesome. I mean, did you ever like grow up watching Ultraman like the original series when you were young? I think the original one came out back in 1966, I think. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I was an army brat, so so we traveled around a lot. So I lived in Germany for several years, and we didn't always have like in Germany at the time, at least, when like we didn't have Netflix or anything like that. So
Oh.
it was literally one channel, and you got to watch whatever was on that channel. So my dad used to bring home, and like that's how I actually started. That's how I fell in love with anime, is just because I watched Robotech, and he would bring home, his he got copies of Robotech somehow, and then I watched every single one. I was like, this is my favorite thing ever. I loved it. So I never really got to watch Ultraman, but I knew about Ultraman, especially when I came back to the States. I had friends who would watch it and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we didn't have like cable or access to anything like that. So sadly, no. But as an
Oh.
adult, yeah. But I know about it. I mean, of course, especially when I booked it, when I got the offer, I was like, I did my research and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And it was like, really cool to be in a show. Like it was funny to be because Roger Craig Smith is in that as well. So it was really funny for me to be like in Suzume with him and then in like, you know, Ultraman all at the same time. It was like all these things were colliding together.
Well, that's really awesome. Ultraman is one of the most famous and most awesome Japanese robot everyone has ever watched. I mean,
Yes.
speaking of it, I do remember watching some like channel cable shows back in my parents' old country, which
Uh-huh.
I don't know what's it called, but I do remember it was this sort of housing. It's more kind of like a cabin, but it's more like it's really small, like a dollhouse, you see. Like when
Uh-huh.
when I have channel cable shows, it usually used to have like old Disney cartoons, but more
Okay.
Nickelodeon like, but different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I watched what I could. I mean, we didn't have anything, unfortunately. So I read a lot when I was little.
Yep.
I played outside a lot when I was little just because we didn't have TV,
Hmm.
and we moved around so much that sometimes we moved into a place and my dad, mom and dad were like, we're gonna be leaving in a couple of months. We're not even gonna like we didn't even like have the movers bring our furniture, you know. So we just had like a sponge bed, like a floor bed or whatever, air mattress, I mean, and then like a lamp and like a table. You know, it was really minimal just because we were gonna leave in like a month or two, and they're like, why are we gonna unpack and then pack? And so yeah, yeah. I mean, my sister and I moved around so much. There was one year we moved. I changed schools 5 times in one year, so it was kind of a hectic childhood.
Yeah, same here. I mean, back in my childhood, I do actually remember like I think what's it called? I think I do remember it's similar to Bluey, but different, just like the one you have in your plush at your studio.
Yeah, that's my bingo.
Yeah, don't know what's it called, but I did remember there was a show. It was kind of like it back in my other country where I used to watch as a kid. My
Uh-huh.
one of my cousins right there, they actually asked me if I could go watch that related show, and I was like,
Oh,
uh, no, I
no.
want to go play my video game and stuff. And they was like,
Yeah.
come on, and they were like dragging me and stuff, like dragging my arm right
Oh,
here. Oh man, it was such a great time. All those
yeah.
memories.
I mean, yeah. And now I'm thinking about it, you know, I played so much video games growing up because we didn't have like a lot of TV. So like
Mm,
I'd go to my friend's house and we'd play Super Mario Brothers and, you know, got into Zelda, all of that stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah.
was like another anime that I watched when I was growing up, but I cannot for the life of me remember it. But I just remembered watching it. It was about a guy who had like, you know, psychokinesis power. And and I really thought I was gonna be able to do what he did. I was like staring at paper and trying to like lift it, you know? So now I get to do that kind of stuff with my voice. So it's fun.
That's really nice to hear that. Yeah. All right. Next question. How's it
Yeah.
like being the voice of Mitsuri's mom from my favorite anime series of all time, Demon Slayer?
That one was a fun session. Yeah. I mean, I went in and they were like, you're gonna be Mitsuri's mom. I was like, cool. And it was honestly, it was kind of like, so actually, who, oh no, that was Steve. That's right, that was Steve. Because also Bill Millsap directed me in Suzume, and I did Zom 100 with him. And so I was like another like caring mom. And then like Mitsuri came. I think like it was like because of Suzume, I was like these caring moms, and I was like, yes, I love that. You know, I'm a caring mom. Actually, what's interesting about Demon Slayer is like there's another character that I did. It was I don't remember her name, but she was like a maid or something, and it was the craziest scene. And I was like, just like he was like, we're just gonna go for it, Jen. Like, just watch it, and then we'll just go. And it was like, you know, like all of a sudden, like the head was gone. I was like, oh my god, what just happened? Yeah, I was like, this is oh okay, okay. He was like, you ready? I was like, yes, Steve, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, that's really awesome. I mean, Demon Slayer is one of my most favorite anime series
It's a
since,
good one.
yeah, it's really awesome. So happy you got to be in my all time favorite show.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. Next question. How's it
Mhm.
like being the voice of Tessa Park from Rainbow High?
Oh, Tessa. I love Tessa. She's so sweet and spicy. It was so much fun to do Tessa because so my daughter, who you if you know, she was here earlier.
Yeah.
Um, she is too. She still watches it. A huge fan of Rainbow High. So that was one of my goals. I was like, I really want to be a Rainbow High character and you know, impress my daughter. And she was like, you're the best K-pop one. I was like, thank you. So it was great. I have her. Oh, she's outside somewhere, but I have her doll, my Tesla Park doll. I just got to make a display for her. So
Oh,
yeah, it was really
that's
cool. She
really
was my
nice to
first.
hear.
Yeah, she was my first. Yeah, she was my first doll character that has a character that has her own doll. So that's really cool. That's a big milestone for me.
Really awesome. Like, did you ever thought about signing those dolls for all of your fans? I mean, they will be very honored if they could get a doll signed by their favorite voice actress on Rainbow High.
One day I hope to. Yeah, I just been it's been so I've been so busy that like you know, like I was in here till like almost 12, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I would say. I didn't get to bed till 1 because I was just working on stuff. So hopefully one day I'll get to go to a con and meet people and stuff like that. I'll be honest though and say that's a little scary. I'm like, what if I go and nobody comes and sees me? I'd be so heartbroken.
Don't say that. Everybody will want to see you because you're really
Oh,
fantastic.
oh, thank you, Richard.
You're
That's
very
really,
much
really sweet and
welcome.
kind.
Hopefully someday I could get to meet you someday if you come
I
to
would
Florida
love
soon.
that.
Yep, it's
Yeah,
a pro-
I would love that.
yep, it's a promise as always.
Yes. Yes. Well, my husband's mom and dad or my in-laws live in Tampa like part of the year still. So eventually I'll go down there and then maybe and if we go to Orlando, I can meet you for lunch or something. That'd be great,
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Final question. What are your
Yes.
dream roles that you would like to voice in the future? It could be like Marvel, Star
Uh-huh.
Wars, DC superhero girls, or something.
Yes. Okay, yes. So one of those has already come true. I can't talk about it, but one of those that you actually mentioned has come true. Um, so, but honestly, all of that. I would love to be in this in Star Wars, Marvel, DC, um, Disney. Oh my gosh, if I could be in a Disney show, basically one of my dream roles is to be a badass, like superhero that sings. So I need to like just make that like I want to like be a badass superhero that sings. So yeah, those are like my dream roles. If I could be in like The Last of Us or something like that, that's another thing. I would love to be in a world of like The Last of Us where it's so real and grounded and gritty and you get to just pour your heart out. So that if I could get into My Little Pony world, if they're still doing stuff, I would love to be a My Little Pony because I love how awesome and kooky they are. I have so many that I just want it all, Richard. I just want it all.
Well, hopefully, if there's a chance, if God notices, He knows
Yes.
who to choose. But we'll
Yep.
see in the future.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. I can't
yeah,
wait to announce some stuff. I mean, I have stuff that I need. I have other things that I haven't even announced yet, but I'm in Call of Duty Mobile now. Like I've like all these things that I need to be better about announcing just because I worked
yep.
hard.
Hmm. Yep, but we'll see if there's a chance. But I can't wait to hear it once you make your announcements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have so many,
yeah.
which is good. It's a good. I'm looking at my list. I have stuff I need to. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to say that, that, and that.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much,
Woo!
Jennifer, for joining here in my podcast series. It really means a lot.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so amazing to talk to you and like I get to learn about you and your aspirations and I think that's incredible and I can't wait to hear all of your announcements and all of your wins and all about your journey.
Yep. Hopefully someday I could get to share them to you once I accomplish my voiceover skills. And
Yeah.
also, one more thing, stay
Yes.
awesome, stay positive, and stay happy for all your fans and co-stars. All right. I'll see you later,
Yes, I love
Jennifer.
that. Bye. Give you a quick little heart. Yes.
Yeah.
There's this one and then there's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care,
I love it.
Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye bye.